Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Gynaec Goddess. In today's video we are going to discuss fetal skull. So we are going to discuss various regions of the fetal skull, bones, vault and sutures, fontanelles and also diameters of fetal skull. So let's get started. Coming to the areas of the skull, there is vault superiorly, face anteriorly and base of the skull. So there are vault, face and base of the skull. Vault is a large dome-shaped part and it lies anteriorly above the orbital ridges and extends till the nape of the neck. And base, it comprises of many bones and they are used to protect the many internal organs and brain stem, and here you can see the foramen magnum for the exit of the spinal cord. And face, it consists of 14 small bones which are united and for protecting the internal organs of the face. Bones of the vault are two frontal bones, two parietal bones and one occipital bone, and two temporal bones, one on either side of the skull. These two frontal bones, they form the forehead or sinciput area, and these two frontal bones fuse to form a single bone by the age of 8 years. And parietal bone, these bones form the majority of the skull and they lie on either side of the skull. Coming to the occipital bone, it forms a part of both vault as well as the base of the skull. So some part of the occipital bone forms the vault, some part of the occipital bone forms the base of the skull. And there are two temporal bones, one on either side, and they also form the part of the vault. The two bones of the skull are fused together by sutures. Here what you can see is a frontal suture between the two frontal bones, and sagittal suture between two parietal bones, coronal suture between the frontal and parietal bone, and lambdoid suture between parietal and occipital bone. So what are the four sutures? Four main important sutures: frontal suture, coronal suture, sagittal suture and lambdoid suture. So these are the four important sutures of skull. Two or more sutures meet together to form a fontanelle. These fontanelles and sutures, they help in the molding of the fetal head during delivery and also provide space for the developing fetal brain. So two fontanelles are very important for our discussion: anterior fontanelle and posterior fontanelle. Anterior fontanelle, it is formed by the meeting of four sutures here. This is frontal suture, sagittal suture and two coronal sutures. And the floor of the anterior fontanelle is usually membranous. See, it is usually membranous and it is closed by 1.5 years of age. And here is the posterior fontanelle, and it's a small triangular fontanelle and it is situated at the junction of lambdoidal sutures and sagittal suture, and it is mostly closed by the time of birth, but it may be closed even after 1 to 2 weeks after delivery, and it has a bony floor. There are mainly four regions of the skull: occipital region, vertex region, sinciput or forehead region and face. Let us discuss the extension of these regions. Occiput region extends from the foramen magnum to the posterior fontanelle, and you can see the occipital protuberance here. The area below the occipital protuberance is known as suboccipital region. And vertex region, it extends from the posterior fontanelle posteriorly and anterior fontanelle and two parietal eminences laterally. And forehead or sinciput region, it extends from the anterior fontanelle and coronal sutures anteriorly to the orbital ridges anteriorly, and face extends from these orbital ridges till the mentum of lower jaw. So what are the regions? Occipital region, vertex region, sinciput region and face.